set up this foundation so that I could pursue causes that I could still have an impact on as a private citizen. So I picked the things that I cared about, and I could do things that were quite important that governments normally don't do. You take any nation, you will find that intelligence and ability, aspiration are all evenly distributed across the society, but organization, investment, opportunity are not. When you get into this business, you have to recognize that a certain amount of humility is required. Governments with all their resources often fail to effect social change. So we're there to restore, if you will, a connection between people's efforts and actions and positive consequences. And you can't possibly do that kind of work unless you do it with other people.
I want to hear another quote from him. I told you about writing books yesterday. Here's what Mr. Clinton said about his book while he was president. He said, many presidential memoirs are dull and self-serving. I want mine to be interesting and self-serving. That's good. You want a president with humor.
Well, first, I apologize, but I couldn't really hear backstage, so I didn't know that I had been called up. Sit down. I want to thank Raymond and the organizers of the conference for inviting me, and I hope that I can say a few things that are relevant to your lives and concerns today. This is an important issue to me, and what happens in the UK is important to me and to the world. You know, I spend most of my time now, notwithstanding the recent election campaign in America, with my foundation. I work with all different kinds of people. Half the time in America and around the world, I don't even know what political party they belong to. We just agree that we're going to tackle an opportunity or try to seize a responsibility and solve a problem. And I say our goal is to figure out how to do whatever it is we're doing faster, cheaper, and better than it was done before. In other words, I think like most of you have to think every day. And the one thing that concerns me about the way we do our business in the world is that there's a disconnect between the way politics works in many places in the way the rest of the world works. What is working all over the world is creative networks of cooperation, because there is an infinite amount of information out there and too few people who understand how to put it together. And nobody knows everything, and a broken clock is right twice a day. All of us spend our lives between those two extremes, wishing we knew everything and hoping to God we're right more than twice a day. So what works to solve problems in the private sector, to create opportunity, to support entrepreneurs, coming up with a new idea that has merit and can generate something people want or solve a problem, and then figuring out how to do it. For most of the years I spent in politics, we largely debated two questions. What are you going to do? And how much money are you going to devote to it? There was almost no focus on the third question, which I believe is the 21st century's most important question, which is whatever you propose to do, and however much money you have or do not have, how do you propose to do it? How do you propose to turn your good intentions into a positive change? For me, that normally involves trying to change people's lives. And I'll give you just one example. We're working our way out of this global financial crisis now. And I suppose I should apologize to everyone here since it started in the United States. But it is an illustration of the degree to which we are interdependent, the degree to which our borders now look far more like nets than walls. And a lot of this interdependence is great. I mean, look around this crowd. Can you imagine this crowd appearing at an event like this 30 years ago? 30 years ago, this crowd would have been older, whiter, and more male. It's a lot more interesting for me to look at you. I mean,